Jai Bala is now joining us on a phone line. Jai, good afternoon. What's the view as far as Indian markets are concerned?
Yeah, the markets have come up to resistance levels of 8,700 odds. So this is what we have spoken a few weeks ago, and it's now trying to give up some of those gains. And it will be very good if the markets try to deflate some of these gains and come slightly below 8,400, 8,300 ballpark. And that will be a healthy correction. We want the market to give a lot of pessimism at every point of time. So the market were to correct at this point of time, that will be an ideal scenario, and that's what we are anticipating at this point of time. But don't try to trade this on the short side, because the major trend is up, and we don't want to be caught with the correction falling short of the targets, and you don't want to be caught short, and because the reversals can be severe.
Right. Can you just tell us the names that you like? You generally tend to have a lot of names in your list, especially the ones that have a lot of volumes and trading moves. So something like a Tata Steel, 3.5% higher, almost at a new high since a while.
Yeah, metals are looking quite interesting at this point of time, and if from a long-term perspective, if Tata Steel can manage to take out 435, that's quite a bit of distance at this point of time. But this is a long-term perspective. It will mean much bigger gains for the stock. And even Hindalco is sending a message that it's got further gains to come through, but in the short term, you'll see some corrections for these stocks. The interesting stock in the mid-cap space is GM Breweries. The stock, we like it a lot, and I think the stock has got much higher potential from here. It's likely to be a three-bagger from current levels, and we already saw the stock go limit up yesterday, and today it's almost up another 10%. But I think this is just the start of a very big move.
Which stock did you mention?
GM Breweries.
Right, GM Breweries. It's the 587 stock, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think it's going to take out the record highs it made last year, and it's going to cross 1,400 plus.
Right. Is it something like what you had told us about Tata Metallics? If it could go up, it could really just start to blast away?
Exactly. This is a similar pick like Tata Metallic. It was 90s when we spoke, and the stock went to 500. This is a very similar setup, and the stock, on the charts, we follow the Elliott wave model, and this stock is doing pretty much the same thing, and it's starting out the same way Tata Metallic started.
Right. Can you just tell us about what's happening as far as these pharma pack is concerned? So Lupin declined after results. Stride Sassoon right now is on the lower side. Pharma, as the overall pack is looking weak now.
Yeah, that's true. If we recall our last couple of conversations, we've been saying that we don't want to focus on the frontline pharma names. We rather focus on names like Dishman and Cadila. They're all doing pretty okay, but so this is a bifurcated space. You got to be very careful here. They've had a stellar run since 2012, and it is possible that they've had a major trend finish off at the recent highs. But we just have to wait a few more weeks and find out if it is a change of trend or just a correction for the long term. So, you got to be very careful within the pharma space. There are winners out there, but you got to be having a hawk eye for that.
Which one would be the winners?
Yeah, we like Cadila and Dishman still. So you got to, be very selective here. We like these two names, and we think Cadila is set to cross 510. And the same goes for Dishman. I think it's going to go for record highs. But your asset, the capital that you allocate, if you normally allocate 1 lakh per trade, you should be allocating 50,000 at this point of time.
Right. Among the cash stocks, anything interesting like Delta Corporation? It's done 50% since results.
Yeah, we would like to look at stocks that are at the early stages of a move. Delta Corp has still got much more, highs to come through, but it's moved up a lot. And if you pick up stocks like this, your risk level goes up. We would rather wait for a correction to up something like 110 for Delta Corp, and before we consider it as a investment buy. But you can look at other names. If you look at something like GlaxoSmithKline, it's had a sizable correction from 3,800 to 3,000 odds, and it's starting to move up today. And if you look at the stock taking out 3,200 on a daily closing level, I think this stock is set to cross 3,900 to 4,000.
Right. How would you look at Reliance Communications? So you maintained that till about 45 or 45.25, which was the earlier low. The trend would be positive side. However, it's gone up, come down, gone up, come down. Do you think it's just failing to pass on any levels?
Exactly. It's failing to see a follow-through buying. That's the main problem with the stock. And within the telecom space, on mobile global seems to be doing much better than others. Even that has run up a lot. But Reliance Communications specifically is not able to cross the resistance at 55 to 57 range. If it can do that with holding the lows that you mentioned, I think the stock is set to do much better. But so far it's struggling to clear that significant resistance between the range of 55 to 57.
Right. Any view on TVS Motors at 314?
Yeah, the auto sector as such is the leader, and we still think TVS Motor can scale past 350. But I think it's a bit the rally has been pretty intense since last year. And while there is still upside to do something like 350, 370, I think the risks are a bit higher. I would rather look at something like a Bharat Forge, which is within the auto space, but auto ancillary space. We think Bharat Forge could be a doubler, and it could cross 1400. And it's currently at 840 odds. It's better off offering a better risk reward. Yeah, Bharat Forge.
Right. Bharat Forge has had its own issues. Results, of course, in this quarter were not that great, but management said it's bottoming out. Is that something which is visible on the charts as well, that probably the bottom of 700, 720, I think, has been made?
Yeah, that's what we've been our contention since April of this year, and I think it's set to take out the record highs. We saw the stock go up on horrible results. That's an indication that the stock is doing exactly the opposite of majority expectation, and I think it's set to raise to much higher levels once it takes out 860, 890.
Right. Jai, thank you so much for taking out time for us. Hope to see you again quite soon.